In today's video, we will delve into the tragic story of Toyah Cordingley. Imagine a life full of promise, filled with laughter, love, and a deep connection to those around you. A life cut short in the most tragic of ways. This is the story of Toyah Cordingley, a 24-year-old woman whose vibrant spirit and love for animals touched everyone she met. On October 21, 2018, Toyah set out for a peaceful walk on a quiet, secluded beach near her hometown in Queensland, Australia, with her beloved dog Indy. But what began as a serene afternoon quickly spiraled into a nightmare that no one could have anticipated. Join us as we uncover the details of Toyah's life, the events leading up to her tragic end, and the long, difficult journey her family has endured in their fight for answers. If you want more stories like this, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a case. Let's dive in. Born on June 14, 1994, Toyah Cordingley had grown up in Cairns, a small coastal town where everyone knew each other. Her parents, Troy and Vanessa, had separated when she was very young, but that had never seemed to dampen Toyah's spirit. Despite the divorce, Toyah had a deep and loving bond with both her parents, spending her time between their homes with ease. She learned early on to adapt to life's challenges with grace and resilience. Toyah's father, Troy, remarried a woman named Mary, while Vanessa married Darren Gardner, a man who would become Toyah's stepfather. This blending of families could have been challenging for many children, but Toyah took it in stride. She formed close relationships with her new step-siblings, Jack and Lena, and the merging of families only added to her already expansive heart. Toyah was loved by everyone she met. She had a personality that could light up any room, with a big smile and a heart full of warmth. Toyah's style reflected her free-spirited nature. She was always willing to stand out from the crowd with her ever-changing hair color, ranging from shades of pink to fiery red to icy blonde by October 2018. She embraced her individuality and encouraged those around her to do the same. Her tattoos, eccentric hairstyles, and vibrant outfits made her a true original. It was impossible to miss Toyah, not just because of her physical appearance, but because of the way she made everyone feel special. Whether she was interacting with a friend, family member, or a dog at the shelter where she worked, Toyah had the rare gift of making others feel seen and valued. Toyah had always been passionate about animals, and her love for them was not just a passing interest. She worked at Paws and Claws Refuge and Boarding Center in Port Douglas, a place where she could nurture and care for animals in need. Her ability to calm even the most aggressive dogs was remarkable. Whether it was a nervous rescue dog or one that had been mistreated, Toyah had a way of reaching them, soothing their fears with her calm demeanor. She was dedicated to the work she did, always prioritizing the well-being of the animals she cared for. Despite her demanding work schedule, Toyah still found time to volunteer and assist with animal welfare causes, often sharing her experiences on social media. She was known for her strong belief that how a person treated animals spoke volumes about their character. No matter how talented, rich, or smart you are, how you treat animals tells me everything I need to know about you, Toyah had written in a post on social media just a few weeks before her death. This philosophy wasn't just a slogan to Toyah, it was a way of life. Toyah's personal life had been just as fulfilling. She had been in a loving relationship with a man named Marco for 2 years. Marco, too, shared a deep love for animals, which was one of the many things that brought them together. The couple lived together in a cozy home with Indy, the dog they had both adopted and loved. Toyah's family adored Marco, and they often spoke about how happy he made her. Together, they built a life filled with love, laughter, and shared passions. However, on the afternoon of October 21, 2018, their peaceful world was about to be shattered. That day started like any other for Toyah. She had worked her shift at Whole Life Pharmacy, where she assisted customers with health products, including camel milk, an unusual yet increasingly popular remedy. After her shift, Toyah went to Rusty's market to pick up food for dinner. Around 1 p.m., CCTV cameras captured Toyah at the market, her smile radiating as she carried a colorful basket filled with fresh produce. She was in high spirits, looking forward to a quiet afternoon with her dog at the beach. At home, she told Marco about her plans. She was going to take Indy for a walk at Wangetti Beach, a secluded spot she had come to love. Around 2:30 p.m., Toyah drove her blue 2009 Mitsubishi Lancer to the beach and parked near the southern entrance. The beach was secluded, with no services other than a small parking lot, making it the perfect place to enjoy the serenity of the sea. After parking, she and Indy walked along the sand, the sound of the waves the only noise in the peaceful afternoon. As the hours passed, Marco began to worry. Toyah had always been punctual, and by 9 p.m., she still hadn't returned. Marco tried calling her, but there was no answer. This was unusual. Toyah was always quick to return his calls. By 9 p.m., Marco contacted Toyah's stepbrother, Jack, to see if she had stopped by his place. Jack had not seen her either. Growing increasingly anxious, Jack went to his mother, Vanessa, to tell her what was going on. Vanessa could see the concern on Jack's face and knew something was terribly wrong. Without wasting any time, they contacted the police, but due to the remoteness of Wangetti Beach and the high tide, they were advised to wait until morning to search. The night passed slowly, with Toyah's family unable to find rest. They knew that something was wrong, and they feared for her safety. When morning arrived, they headed to the beach, flashlights in hand, ready to search. The sight of Toyah's car still parked at the beach gave them a glimmer of hope. She hadn't left. She was still there. But as they searched the area, there was no sign of her. The tide was still high, and the beach seemed empty, quiet, and unnervingly still. Then, as Vanessa's eyes scanned the area, something caught her attention. She saw Indy tied to a tree, her leash wrapped so tightly around the trunk that she couldn't sit down or lie down. Indy's leash was inhumanely tight, and Toyah, who loved her dog more than anything, would never have done this. The family quickly cut the leash and freed Indy, but the moment of relief was fleeting. The search continued, and then, as the tide began to recede, Troy made a discovery that would change their lives forever. Troy saw something unusual, a foot, partially exposed in the sand. As he approached, his worst fears were realized. There, in a shallow grave, was the body of his daughter, Toyah. The shock of seeing her lifeless body, so violently taken from them, was almost too much to bear. Toyah had been brutally attacked, likely with a knife, and left to die on that quiet beach. She had been taken from them in the most horrific way possible. Toyah's family was devastated. They had lost their only child, a bright, loving woman with so much life ahead of her. The grief was overwhelming, and Vanessa, unable to bear the pain, collapsed into her family's arms. She couldn't even look at her daughter's body. The injuries were too severe. This was every parent's worst nightmare, losing a child in such a violent, senseless way. The community of Kess was equally shocked. Toyah was loved by everyone. She had no enemies and no reason to be harmed. She had always been kind, friendly, and full of life. The question on everyone's mind was simple: who could have done such a thing to Toyah? The small town was filled with fear. Who was responsible for this brutal act? Was the killer still out there? The investigation began immediately. The police scoured the area, interviewed witnesses, and reviewed surveillance footage. They questioned Toyah's family and friends, including Marco and Darren. Both were ruled out as suspects, as they had solid alibis. But the case remained unsolved, and Toyah's family was left in limbo, waiting for answers that didn't come. Months passed with little progress. But then, in early 2019, a breakthrough occurred. Dashcam footage had captured a car swerving down the Captain Cook Highway on the day Toyah went missing. The car's license plate was traced to Rajwinder Singh, a 34-year-old nurse who had lived in Queensland for several years. Rajwinder's strange behavior in the weeks leading up to Toyah's death, his erratic actions and avoiding friends and colleagues, raised suspicions. Further investigation revealed that Rajwinder had left Australia on the same day that Toyah went missing, traveling to India. In 2022, Rajwinder was arrested in New Delhi. He admitted to killing Toyah, although his explanation was chilling. He claimed that after an argument with his wife, he went to Wangetti Beach to clear his head. When Toyah's dog Indy barked at him, he became enraged and confronted Toyah. In a fit of rage, Rajwinder attacked Toyah with a knife, killing her. Rajwinder's actions were brutal, and his explanation offered no justification for the violence he inflicted on Toyah. The loss of her life, so senseless and violent, left a hole in the hearts of her family and friends that could never be filled. Rajwinder was extradited to Australia in early 2023, and his trial began soon after. But during the trial, new information came to light. Toyah had been seeing a man named Dr. Tyson Franklin, a local doctor, in the weeks leading up to her death. The defense attempted to suggest that Tyson's involvement in Toyah's life could have been a factor in her murder, but there was no solid evidence to support this claim. As of 2024, the trial was still ongoing, with the final hearing scheduled for 2025. Toyah's family, after years of waiting, remained hopeful that they would finally receive justice. Toyah's death had left an irreplaceable void in their lives, but they were determined to see her killer held accountable for the pain and suffering he had caused. The story of Toyah Cordingley is a tragic reminder that life can change in the blink of an eye. What began as a peaceful walk on a quiet beach turned into a nightmare for Toyah and her family. But despite the heartache, Toyah's family continues to fight for justice, determined that one day they will find peace and closure. If you're still here, thank you for watching. Stories like this deserve to be heard. Please subscribe, share, comment, and continue to support this channel. See you in the next video.